This is Sony's new 20-70mm f4 lens, a full-frame standard zoom which does something a little different to the established 24-70 f2.8 or 24-105 f4. It's lightweight, doesn't compromise on image quality, has a bunch of well-designed physical features like we've seen on Sony's other recent G Master zooms, and it goes that little bit wider than we're used to from a 24-70mm. And that's the really important bit here. Think of this as a professional 24-70mm for people who need to travel light and compact and need to go that bit wider than a traditional 24-70 actually lets you go. And that covers a huge variety of styles of work, all the way from vlogging to journalism and professional travel filmmaking. I think this is a very practical lens. Let's start by looking at the physical features. If you've seen Sony's new 24-70 or 70-200 Mark II versions, a lot of this will be familiar. There's an iris ring which can be locked when needed and can also be de-clicked to make it perfectly smooth, which is lovely to have. There's also two assignable buttons which are set to hold your focus by default, but can of course be set to whatever you need to from the camera menu. It has a 72mm front filter diameter and weighs only 488 grams, which is really impressive. For perspective on that, the 24-70mm f2.8 Mark II and the 24-105 f4 are both just under 700 grams, and both of those are very lightweight actually for professional quality full frame standard zooms. So 488 grams is impressively lightweight. So that, I think, is one of the main reasons that people would be drawn to this lens, its actual weight and size. But the other one is how wide it goes. 20mm might not sound that much wider than 24, and it's certainly not as wide as a 16-35 would go, of course. But it's not actually that far off. It really does make a difference when you're trying to get that wide establishing shot, for example, just having that little bit more reach to go that little bit wider. In terms of image quality, it's pretty impressive for such a small lens. Edge sharpness seems great both at 20mm and at 70mm. Here's it compared to the 24-70 Mark II, and it seems just as good to me. The bokeh is round and even at 70mm, although at 24 the circular shapes from these fairy lights definitely do distort a bit at the edges, but this is quite normal, to be honest. We saw this on the 24-70mm as well. This is an interview style setup with Nathaniel, and as you can see, those out of focus areas behind him look really quite good at 70mm and f4. The autofocus also keeps him in focus perfectly as he leans back and forth, just like you would expect from a Sony G Master lens and a Sony body. There's no nasty surprises here at all. Here it is side by side with the 24-70mm at f2.8, and they look really quite similar, just obviously slightly shallower depth of field on the f2.8 lens. Stop that 24-70 down to f4 and they look remarkably close. I've been really quite impressed by the image quality. Being a small compact f4 lens, I was assuming the image quality wouldn't be quite as good as the no compromise f2.8 lens, but this is actually remarkably close. It's impressive stuff for any lens, to be honest, let alone one designed to be as small and as light as this. Overall, I've been really surprised by how much I like this lens. It will be interesting to see how many people end up choosing this over the regular 24-70mm f2.8 that they're used to working with. What's more important for people? That faster aperture or the lighter weight design and that wider field of view? I guess it all really depends on the type of work you do, of course, but what do you think? Do you like the look of the 20-70mm f4, and would you actually use it for your own work? Let me know in the comment section, and if you want to buy one of these for yourself, head over to provi.co.uk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.